Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today, the only two civilizations in the game with unique units that can be trained in the Feudal Age will face off against one another as MbL, playing as the Sicilians in red, gets ready to duke it out with the Viper, playing as the Gurjaras in green. Now all the players heard their herbals, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Are you going to get it? Are you going to get it? Of course you're going to get the goats. Now, the Sicilians, a civilization whose strength, in my opinion, derives from their static defensive structures. Take a look at the top left of your screen. You'll notice the Sicilians start the game with 100 extra stone, which is amazing because they build town centers twice as fast as normal, fortifications 50% faster than normal, and starting in the Feudal Age can build their unique structure called the donjon. Think of the donjon as a mini castle that gains both HP and armor as the game goes on, and like its sister structure, the Bulgarian Krepost can be used to train the unique unit of the civilization. In this particular case, not a Conic, but the Sergeant. This is a medium infantry unit with great base armor, whose HP actually increases in the Castle Age. And by the way, you can use those very same Sergeants to build and repair the very same donjons that give them life. Now, unlike the Bulgarian Krepost, the donjon can actually be used to train spearman line units and can count as a prerequisite to build stables and archery ranges, although not recommended to skip a barracks if you want to go the infantry route. Now, if you find yourself in dire need of a lot of army real quick, one of the cool features of the Sicilians is their ability to call a first crusade. What happens then is each town center spawns 5 sergeants up to a maximum of 5 TCs, so 5 times 5 is 25 sergeants that appear instantaneously on the map. Now, to help protect the sergeant, because it is heavily armored, meaning it moves a little bit slower than usual, protected on the battlefield, Sicilian Knights and Cavaliers can be upgraded to get extra armor. All Sicilian infantry, cavalry, and archer units take 33% less bonus damage, and all Sicilian units can be upgraded to become more resistant to conversion. Now, to feed your big army, the Sicilians do have one of the most bountiful farms. They actually have the most bountiful farms in the game. As a Sicilian, when you research a farm upgrade, it more than doubles the amount of food that is normally added to a farm. So if we're lucky enough to see the Imperial Age, as we're lucky enough to see this gray, wrinkly, butted elephant, a fully seated, fully upgraded Sicilian farm comes with more than 1,000 food, which is pretty darn bonkers. Now, speaking of food and the quirkiness involved in Age of Empires and food and all that good stuff, let's take a look at the opponent today. We've got the Viper playing as a Gurjaras in green, a civilization that focuses on man's other 4-legged best friends, horses, camels, and elephants. Gurjara camels and elephants are created faster. All of their mounted units deal progressively more bonus damage as the game goes on, 20% in feudal, 40% in imperial. Their camel line units, their elephant archers, can be upgraded to make them much harder to take down, with a huge boost to their melee armor. And their first unique unit, the Shravamsha Rider, is a lightning fast cavalry unit that can actually dodge enemy projectiles. Now, to support their mounted units against pesky, annoying infantry such as maybe pikemen, halberdiers, who knows, that might want to poke and prod at them, the Gurjaras can field a second unique unit, the Chakram Thrower. This is an infantry unit with a ranged melee attack who's basically a Xena warrior princess in Age of Empires form. Throws a disc that can hit multiple units at once. And even though the damage output of the disc is quite low, 3 I believe for the base model, 4 for the elite, the pass-through damage to other units is 100%, and it does come with a small bonus attack against the infantry. Now, to help the Gurjaras build up their military-industrial complex, as you notice, they do start the game. 1 has already been depleted, but with 2 berry bushes underneath a TC, they can garrison livestock inside of their mill, which increases their food up a unit. Take a look at the top right of your screen, 104, 105, 106. It goes up and up and up a unit the longer the game goes on. Obviously, the more useful add bonuses, and they can upgrade their entire military so that every single military unit they can train that costs food, well, it costs 25% less food with the infamous Kshatriyas upgrade. So these are the two civilizations. One very interesting thing I really am curious to see in this game, in this matchup. Number 1, hopefully we get to go to the late stages of the game. Number 2, in the late stages of the game, I really want to see how the mounted units of the Gurjaras, which deal 40% more bonus damage in Imperial, deal with the Sicilian army, which generally takes 33% less bonus damage. So there's one unit that comes with extra bonus damage and one unit that comes with a negation of a good chunk of that bonus damage. So potentially in for some very fun, very confusing, very hard to predict battles. As opposed to, you know, you take a look at a random Gurjara camel in Imperial, you say, hey, you've got 40% more bonus damage, let's say against cavalry. Well, yeah, it's very easy to predict a camel rider versus a man on a horse. Although against the Sicilians, maybe even with Hauberk, the upgrade that doesn't allow, it gives their Nightline units extra armor, makes it even harder to predict battles. And whenever things are harder to predict, I really do enjoy them a little bit more. Kind of like, maybe a little bit like Age of Empires gambling. So the degenerate in me kind of comes out, and I don't mind it at all. In any event, enough about gambling and degeneracy. Let's take a look at the chessboard we're on today. Usual relic in the center. Lots and lots of hills. Lots and lots of small forests and choke points. We'll see which player aggresses. We'll see which player decides to use those to their advantage. For now, our Camel Scout, one of the only 2 unique units you can train in the Feudal Age, which, by the way, both players are in at the moment, is being shooed away by a Spearman. So a couple of cool little back and forth similarities and offsets between these 2 civilizations. By the way, 2 civs with fantastic food-related bonuses as well. Like I said, a fully seeded Sicilian farm in Imperial, I believe 1,019 food, whereas the Gurjaras, as long as you leave these goats inside of here, you are just getting more and more and more and more food as the game continues. So anyway, neither here or there. Looks like the Viper has scouted double archery range, so we'll see how he responds to that. Generally a few Shravamshas here or there, being able to dodge 5 projectiles in their base model, 7 in the elite model are good enough to deal with some archers. But if you're going to go the route of the Shravamsha, you need to start gathering stone, because they cost 70 food. And so unless you get that Kshatriyas upgrade, you're going to be paying a lot of food, or spending a lot of food for this unit. Let's take a look at the resources. Viper's gold to the front, but secure already. Stone to the back, extra gold up top. Where is your additional gold? Oh my goodness, incredibly far forward here for the Viper. And your extra stone also in the kind of forward but off to the side position. So not the greatest of locations for resources. He's got a bit of gold and stone to the back. His primary gold is secure, so not terrible. And now you got to be careful. This is still a Camel Scout. It still does come with +5 bonus against cavalry. But, ooh, MbL might want to just slow down, turn around, and let the Spearmen catch up, because Spearmen do come with attack bonuses against camels +12, which means that 1 or 2 shot away from killing it. In the meantime, that Scout continues to take more and more damage. A little bit of a scuffle here developing as units try to avoid and evade one another. Who will die first? We've got a Spearman chasing a Skirmisher. Off to the left, we'll keep an eye on that. Ooh, this guy is all of a sudden in a little bit of jeopardy, because Skirmishers come with a decent +3 attack bonus against Spearman line units. And yeah, he is in serious trouble. First blood drawn by MbL, our Sicilian. Let's take a look at the never mind. Let's take a look at absolutely nothing else that's going on around the map, because we have an amazing chase. Will the Spearman catch the Skirmisher? Will the lie? Okay, so the Spearman gets the kill. Oh, but he's so weak. He's so weak. Oh my goodness. So to recap, 1 kill for MbL, 1 kill for the Viper, and 1 kill for Mother Nature, whose hungry lion stands over the corpse of its meal, making sure no hyenas show up to steal and teeth any of that meat. We'll take a look at MbL's base in a second once the action subsides here. If it subsides, another kill for the Viper, whose camel manages to poke and prod another few HP points, killing that Scout. And now MbL's kind of shoving himself into here. Reinforcements are en route from his base. 4 of them, it looks like. 4 of them. Oh, it's villagers. Okay, I was looking at the army tab up to the top, and I'm thinking this army is all here. What the hell? 4? Where are these 4 reinforcements coming from, and are they invisible? No. Are we gonna see a donjon push at the 16-minute mark out of our Sicilian? Now, donjon's not quite as expensive as a Krepos for the Bulgarians, which I believe costs 350 stone. A donjon is just 175 stone, so half the stone cost, but it does also cost 50 wood, which isn't really the biggest of deals right now for MbL, who's sitting on 250 wood. few more kills here and there, but the Donjon is going up in a pretty good location, laming the archery range and the stable, leaving the Viper with pretty much just the barracks. And I don't know what the hell you're going to train out of the barracks, but doesn't look like he's going to train anything at all because he is heading up to the Castle Age. And the Donjon begins attacking whatever it possibly can here as the villagers are attacking. The Viper still is in Feudal, which means his houses come with negative melee armor, making them a little bit easier to take down. Let's take a very quick look at where MbL's resources are. Primary gold, nice and secure to the back. Stone being mined in earnest to the front. No pressure whatsoever from the Viper. Has he even seen it? He has not. And so has not seen that quarry operation. Extra gold and stone off to the left, extra gold to the top. So position of resources, he's got a lot of them in the rear position, whereas the Vipers seem to be a lot more in the forward position here. This stone, this gold. Second Donjon canceled. MbL was gathering a good amount of stone. I thought we were going to see a Castle Age uptime from him, but he's not in Castle, which means his stone has to be spent on Donjons. Sergeants are out as well. Look at the stats on this unit. 2 base armor. And their stats, by the way, just improve and improve and improve as you jump from Feudal to Castle Age. But the Viper's not relenting. How many villagers? He's brought 10. A third of it. Oh, forget 10. He's brought 15. Half of his economy is here. And it is trying to take down the Donjon that is trying to shove itself right in the middle of his base here. This Donjon has to go down. The Viper needs it to go down, and he does manage to get it. Random archer. Okay. So camels now in Castle Age. 30% more bonus damage. So instead of the usual 9 against cavalry, it's 12. Unfortunately for the Viper, there's no bonus damage against infantry sergeants. And so these sergeants with their crazy armor and very, very tanky nature should be able to kill these camels quite handily, unless they're just focused on something else like killing villagers. But for now, attack upgrades non-existent for MbL. Just defensive upgrades for his infantry and fletching for his donjons. And MbL just lost his entire army. Not only did he lose his entire army, he lost those 4 villagers as well. I don't think they ran away. I think they were part of the fracas here. At the same time, Shravamshas are out. Lightning fast units. Still no husbandry for our Gurjara, which should make his army even faster. Now, seeing Shravamshas, I'm a little confused as to why MbL is sending archers forward. This unit, take a look, it has a little white bar underneath its picture. It means it can dodge 5 projectiles. Now, its attack is not exactly the highest. It's not supposed to be. But you know what? So it doesn't really have to be, because right now he's basically fighting Feudal Age archers, a spearman and a sergeant. And no matter how you slice it, this is still very much a Feudal Age army versus a Castle Age army. And MbL is unrelenting. Not too sure what the point of this location is for the Donjon. I don't think it even reaches. Will it actually even reach the archery range? Let's take a look. Yeah, it does, just barely. I was thinking this red line doesn't really reach it, but it apparently does. MbL spending his food on forging. Okay, he's going to try to upgrade his sergeants and his spearmen. He's got a 6 villager lead. The Viper, though, able, but not really able to plop down a second TC. That would pull way too many villagers off of resource gathering right now. He's got the resources for it. He's got the wood and the stone, but I don't think he can idle 6 or 7 or even 8 villagers to start building a structure right now. Shravamshas. Oh my goodness, look at their HP. 7 kills, but look at that. 58 HP. Hey, you can't even buy a candy bar with that HP as they get the hell out of Dodge. They need to move very, very far away. 7 villagers on stone for MbL. 420 pothead stone for our Sicilian, who now plops down yet another donjon. And there, by the way, are 4 sergeants training. And those sergeants can join in on the construction fun. It's always super cool to see them. They've got their little kite shields on their back as they hammer away. Converted villager will return. Another possibly converted villager. Hey, you don't have to give up all your villagers. No conversion, just that one. Both players have killed 4 vills of the other. The Vipers killed 2.5 times more army, 36 to 14. Or I should say 2.5 times more on the whole. This is a pretty large chunk of army out of our Sicilian, who is now claiming the high ground, bringing his villagers even more forward. MbL is housed. MbL is housed, and I don't see a single house being built on the other side of the map. This is such an issue for him. Although, never mind, as I say that, he does construct one house. The problem is as scary as your army looks, waddling across this Gurjara base, left, right, and center, it is still, again, for the second time I'm saying this, a Feudal Age army. And you are taking on a Castle Age army of Shrevamshires, Camel Riders, MbL, Monk. There is a reason you cannot win 99.9% of games in the Feudal against Castle Age. We've seen it done. We've seen a lot of scout plays overwhelm opponents, but not in this kind of scenario. By the way, 2 Shrevamshires here managing to get a few villager kills, 3 Vill kills. Is there any response to this at all? No, not at all. Wait a second. Pardon me, a few spearmen are moving forward. We'll keep an eye on that, see how long those Shrevamshires last. If they even decide to attack into there, they might just run the hell away and evade. Will he get the Scorpion? He does not. Things are not looking good here for our Sicilian. 27 minutes into the game, he is still in the Feudal Age. And yeah, it looks like those spearmen did clean up those Shrevamshires to the rear. There we go. But losing 3 villagers, not terrible, not great. Viper takes an 13-8 Vill kill lead, 66-28. So still a little over 2 times the kills of his opponent. One of the trio donjons has fallen. I don't see the second surviving very long here, not with this elephant on the way. And it sees the flag, maybe scared that there's melee units. Remember, you can train spearman line units out of this building, which is super duper cool. A recent change that they did to the donjon. But it's under attack. Its HP is not fantastic in the Feudal Age. It's good, it's not great. But in a minute 40 seconds, our Sicilian's going to be in the Castle Age with 667 stone. So it's not a matter of where, pardon me, not a matter of if, but where the castle will be dropped. Man, I really bungled that, didn't I? He can use the sergeants to repair this if he wanted to, as the Viper is using a villager here to repair this mangonel. Shrevamshire kills an archer, but again, spearmen versus Shrevamshires. Shrevamshires are not really meant to take on anything of that kind of nature of a heavy cavalry or a pikeman style unit. By the way, very sour that MbL has not caught wind of this third town center. The Viper really sprawling out his town center, saying, hey, you've got the Sicilian army, which moves kind of slow, so I can just spread my TCs out like a big old fart in a room, and there's not going to be too much you'll be able to do about it. But a castle, what is the point of this low ground castle? What is the point of this? I am at a loss for words as to why he's placing a castle here, and the Viper says, not on my watch. 32 villagers being brought forward. Remember, though, the Sicilians do construct fortifications like a castle 50% faster than normal, but that doesn't matter when you're under attack. We're at 80, 90. Will he get it? Oh, this is so incredibly sour for MbL. He's got 1 villager left as his spearman struggles to hold this one little tile choke point against a spearman and an elephant. And look at the dodging. Look at the dodging out of MbL. But no, too slow. Oh, that was so epic for a little bit. Oh, look at the castle. 98.97%. Wow. I mean, that was a pretty cool way to end the game. That was, I mean, look, do I want the game to end 32 minutes in? Absolutely not. But that was a pretty freaking cool way to end the game. Look at this villager. Look at this Vill. She single-handedly managed to get... Actually, you know what? I'm curious from the start. Okay, 1 of the 4 die. The second... Okay, so now she's alone. The castle's at 92%. So you're telling me the castle went up 6% by this 1 villager's micro alone. Look at this craziness out of MbL. Now, the Viper could have easily just sent this 1 villager to attack her, but the castle went up almost 7%. Just that one villager alone. If she could have continued dodging just a few more arrows, this castle would have gone up with the donjon to the left. I don't know, again, what the purpose of this castle is. I don't know why he put it here. Here would have been maybe a better position to try to lame one of these town centers. I don't think MbL's seen the ones to the north. He has not, or the ones to the back. He has not. So I'm not too sure about this location at all. But what a game. At the end of the day, the Viper kills 20 villagers to 9, 81 units to 32. But look at this castle. 99%. How incredibly sour is that? That is a kick to the metaphorical nuts. And is it a surprise that MbL resigns and GG's very, very shortly after this? He's got nothing left in here. If only sergeants could help build castles, then he probably would have popped out those sergeants, but they cannot. For now, they can only really build donjons and repair donjons. So he's kind of stuck here. And that's all she wrote for our Sicilian, who, to be fair, stuck around in Feudal Age a little bit too long, maybe. A little bit too long. Spearmen, not something we see every day. Just basic spearmen, sergeants, and archers against Shrevamshas, skirmishers, and, well, at least spearmen as well. The Viper, peak APM approaching hero levels halfway, pardon me, 2/3 of the way through the game. And then a few minutes before that was MbL, a slightly lower Elo, lower APM. Tiny bit more wood for our Gurjara, everything else for our Sicilian. Stone almost identical, which is interesting given that our Sicilian was mining stone light years ahead of his opponent. A little bit more gold, identical food, almost identical wood, which means that the economies are about 3-4% apart. Not a big deal because the game didn't really last very long. 5 conversions is kind of sour out of army total of 70. That's not good. That's like 7% of your army becoming your opponents to toy with. 5 raisings to 2, but really, I mean, this is absolutely epic. That villager dodging those arrows. If only one more vill, you know, it's one of those if only situations. If only the Viper had sent this villager instead of hanging around here to go attack her, the castle would have probably been stopped at 95, 94, 96%. If only MbL had kept one more villager alive, the castle could have gone up. And even if it had gone up, look at its HP. It's already below half. The elephant is already here. He's within the safety of the murder holes upgrade, which obviously players don't get. I don't think MbL even has a university to get it. Yeah, I don't see that. He literally just hit Castle Age. But what a fun game. MbL trying to kind of push in with donjons. I'm not too sure about the locations. I like the initial location, laming these 3 structures, although blacksmith less so. But the archery range and the stable were nicely lamed for a little bit. But then the next few locations were a little confusing, and especially this location. What exactly is he trying to accomplish? Is he trying to cut off the main base from the suburbs and make this easy pickings? If so, why not just put the castle here or here? Has MbL seen this quarry? He has. I'm not too sure. 1 donjon here and 1 castle here instead of here and here would probably have done a fantastic job laming this little expansion. But little did he know, the Viper has another town center. The Viper's got another town center, and so the Viper is ahead 36 villagers at the moment. MbL has the same army composition, but hey, again, you're a Feudal Age army composition. Although sergeants are now in the castle age. Take a look at this. Their HP jumps from 50 to 75. You don't have to do anything. It just automatically jumps. And then their armor, more importantly, from 2-2 to 3-3, it jumps. That is a pretty fun freaking, that's a 50% increase across all boards, from 50 to 75 and from 2 to 3. Literally, their stats jump up by 50% automatically just by clicking up to Castle Age, which is why I was a little bit surprised MbL stuck around in Feudal for so long. But he wanted to try the push. He tried the push. It did not go his way. The Viper manages to hold on, push back, even cause a little bit of damage on the other side of the map with his 2 Shrevamshas who are still here rotting in the desert sun. And with those 2 Shrevamshas rotting in the desert sun, it is the Viper who takes the W. But GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.